Good evening, everyone. It is June the 14th, and we are talking about Jesus tonight, and these are the shorts. I'm going to try and make it short. Exodus 24. Then to Moses he said, "Come up to Adonai, you and Aaron, Nahab, Abihu, and 70 elders, and worship from afar." Now it's interesting to me because this is Mount Sinai, and they said no one could see God. Well, that was when Moses was on the mountain. Said he could only see his back. But now they're coming up to see God. Moses alone is to approach Adonai, but the others may not draw near, nor are the people to go up with him. The people of Israel had to stay. They couldn't even let their feet touch the mountain. Then Moses took half of the blood and put it in the basins, and then the other half he poured out against the altar. And Moses took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, "Behold, the blood of the covenant, which Adonai has cut with you, in agreement with all these words." And Moses and Aaron, Nahab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel went up. They saw the God of Israel. That's what I'm saying. Now they can look at God. Under his feet was something like a pavement of sapphire, as clear as the very heavens. We see the stones and the sapphires and all those things that are around the throne room of God, all the pearls and everything. They're translucent. The gold of the streets are translucent. You can see through it. That's how pure it is. Well, why is it that they can see him now and why they couldn't then? Because now there's an Ark of the Covenant, and the blood is covering the law. So they're not exposed to the law. Therefore, they're not held to it. 1 Samuel chapter 6, verse 18. Here's an example of what happens when you take the cover off. The golden mice also, because the Philistines had the Ark of the Covenant, they had stole it, and their god Dagon kept tipping over every night in the temple. And it's all because the Ark of the Covenant was there, and they were all bowing before the Ark. So they had to get rid of it. They said, we're going to let it go. We're going to put it on a cart with 2 oxen pulling it. And if it finds Jerusalem, then this truly is God. So they do that. And David sends 50,070 men to come and get the Ark. Now these bozos, they've never seen the Ark. They don't know what it's all about. But somehow it doesn't tell us exactly how, but the cover comes off the Ark. And when that happens, it says, both the fortified cities and their villages, as far as the large stone on which they had set down the Ark of the Covenant of Adonai, it remains to this day in the field of Yehoshua. But the golden mice also corresponded to the number of all the cities the Philistines belonging to that the Philistines had belonging to the 5 lords, both the fortified cities and the villages. Then he struck down some of the men of Bet Shemesh because they gazed into the Ark of Adonai. He struck down the people, 70 out of 50,000 men. Most translations say 50,070 men were killed. The people mourned because Adonai had struck the people dead. Now why? Because they looked into an ark. In that ark was the law, the bread of life, which is Jesus, and then Aaron's rod that budded. But no man can stand before the law without the blood of Jesus, without the blood protecting them, shielding them. And they did it. Didn't turn out well for them. So that is why when God looks at us, he sees his son. Because our as long as we don't reject him, turn away from him, Jesus' blood is making it pure. So when we feel guilt or continually ask for forgiveness from something, Jesus has no idea what we're talking about. None at all. So don't do that. Once it's forgiven, and I say this all the time, what is the reason that he can forgive us but we can't? And it's because he can't remember. Because he says once it's taken away, it is buried in the depths of the sea, never again to be in one of my books or in my mind. But in our case, we remember. He doesn't, because he's got memory loss when it comes to sin, if we've been forgiven. StreetlightGR.com, Facebook, at Streetlight Bible Study 4006. Be blessed as always, and please remember to be a blessing to someone, anyone this week, anyone. That should be our goal every week, to be a blessing to someone. Thank you for tuning in.